Hello, welcome back to A Spiritual Ascension, my own 5-year journey, where I'm telling my entire story of my ascension journey from 2020 to 2025 and what happened before that to prepare me for this journey and what has happened since. So when we left off last time, and if you're just coming into this video, seeing this video for the first time, this may be episode 56, 57. I lost count, but go back to the very first episode, episode 1, and go from there because kind of coming into my story um, in the middle of it, you're going to kind of get lost as to what's going on. So we're now in October of 2023. And in the last video, I think I had named that one the emotional part of it. And there was this severing of ties with this friend um, who had helped me through that part of my journey. So I think I even did a video in excerpts of A Spiritual Ascension that people will come into your life for a reason, season, to help you along your journey. So even when I had met him back in 2010, I'm going to say. Say solution. And it was a very short kind of, friendship relationship. And he was a little younger, so, I knew he was still kind of not ready to settle down or anything. And kind of didn't think too much more of it after that. He contacted me through Facebook, sorry, um, around April, I'm going to say March, April of 2023. And at first, I was kind of hesitant to say, I don't think I want this person to come because I already kind of had this feeling that people were already leaving my life for a reason. Um, my entire family had already left. I had left, was leaving, about to leave my hometown area. And there was a saying goodbye to that whole area and everyone who had been a part of my life up until then. So for him now to step back into my life 13 years later, I'm like, nah, I don't think so. But something made me say, okay, let's figure this out. Something's here. And not understanding that him and I had had a soul contract for him to come back into my life in 2023 to help me through that phase of my journey. So you never know who may end up coming back into your life where you thought they were long gone. You probably totally forgot about that person. And you just never know. Let me speak my time. I'm sorry. Okay. So here we are, beginning of October, and Um, also understanding that the universe brings certain situations, not even into just our lives, but into other people's lives that we may have attachments to in order to take them out of our life so that we can move along further on our journey. So I believe a third party came in and kind of took him um, away in a sense. And as devastated as I was because was growing an attachment for him, and also my thinking was starting to be, am I supposed to stay in New York? And my destiny was to go to this New Hampshire, Maine border. So saying, I know what they told me, but am I supposed to stay with this person now in New York? And when spirit, the divine says, okay, someone is stepping in the way of your path, of you heading towards your destiny. We need to take this person out of your life. And in order for that to happen, sometimes they may need to bring in a third party. So, in a way, after kind of analyzing all of that later on, I kind of said to myself, you know what? I have to thank that third party, because if I would have stayed in that situation with this person, I may have not continued on my journey, or probably it would have delayed it. Not to say that the universe wasn't going to make something else happen, but um, I needed to get on my pathway. So there was a thank thankfulness, a gratitude to this so-called third party person who kind of took this person out of my life. And I kind of had that aha moment where I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like I'm now free and open to finally reach that destination. It had now been since 2017 that my father in spirit had said to me to go to the Maine, New Hampshire, Maine border. And like, how the heck am I going to get there? You're going to quit your job. And I was like, I've been working here for almost 20 years, quit my job. And there were so many doubts at first. And, um, but throughout all those struggles that you guys have listened to so far, my goal, my um, passion was to get there, get to that New Hampshire, Maine border. That's where I knew I was supposed to go. I didn't know where I was supposed to go after that. All I knew was I had to get there. So I think, as I said in the last video, I had never been up to, and I shouldn't say never, I hadn't been up to New Hampshire, Maine, probably in almost 30 years. And I said, I have no idea what I'm walking into here, like what it's all about. So I had already been doing a lot of research on New Hampshire and also Maine, but mostly New Hampshire, because I'm thinking, okay, they told me the New Hampshire, Maine border, and the town that's kind of joins New Hampshire and Maine is Portsmouth. And I kind of said, well, let me go to Portsmouth, for a little vacation. My birthday was coming up in early December, and this is now mid-October where this aha moment is coming to me. So I said, I have about 6, 7 weeks to kind of, adjust myself, my schedule, my money, and take a trip up to Portsmouth, New Hampshire. So I started putting some money aside for that. I had booked my hotel and had looked for, kind of organized. I'm kind of the type that I like to organize, like what I'm going to do. And even if I don't do those things on the day that I organize it for, like I have alternative things to do. So I think that's the Wall Street part of me. That's still um, my earth signs, and I have a lot of earth in me. Um, so very grounded, but I need schedules, and I'm trying to get away from that and be more of my Sagittarius energy of just kind of going with the flow. But I have so much earth in me that sometimes I need that like schedule type of thing. Anyway, I wrote out a whole schedule. I think I was going to decided to leave Thursday. I think that might have been like November 30th or something like that. Um, leave Thursday afternoon and then come back Monday morning. And so with that information of trying to see what venues were around, they were going to have the annual Christmas tree lighting that Saturday. And so that was put on my list too. and kind of just seeing what Portsmouth was about. Since, I was in New York, I didn't have a car. I was going to take the bus from Port Authority, and it took me right up to Portsmouth. Um, and then coming back too. So it was very convenient as far as getting there and everything. The thing was with my job, I hadn't I had not taken any days off since I was hired in the end of June. So now I was trying to say, well, I have days available. I've accumulated, but my job is the way it was kind of set up, like there's not too much room for me to have taken off, you know, um, which I always told myself I'm never going to work at a job where, like, if you're not there, they don't know what to do. So I said to them, what I'll do is I can work while I think the bus ride was like 6, 7 hours. I said, I'll work on the bus, um, and then going there on Thursday, and then I'll also work on the bus coming back on Monday morning. So they were agreeable to that. Um, so in the next couple of weeks, it was kind of all about, putting some money aside for this trip, paying my, monthly expenses, but also I was still trying to build up like a wardrobe in a way, because when I arrived just a couple months ago in New York in May, I had the clothes I had on my back. So I needed a coat for the cold weather that was coming up. I needed, snow boots and things like that. So I was trying to slowly build up a wardrobe again. And since I was more of had a minimalist mindset by that time, like I understood why my ancestors and spirit had said to me, you need to get rid of stuff, because they were trying to prepare me, saying, like, you're not going to need all this stuff later on. Like all this stuff is going away. So I tried to pare down, thinking that I was still going to hold on to this amount, but it was gone. Everything I once had was gone. And that's why I always say to you, you're going to be living two lives within one lifetime. So don't be surprised if everything that you've had previously in this first life is ends up being gone, totally gone. People, situations, material possessions, totally gone. Um, so I needed, coats, sweaters, and stuff. Plus, going up to New Hampshire is going to be a lot colder up there around, end of November, beginning of December. So trying to figure out, what I needed, but also I no longer desire to have um, what I used to have. And also it was more about quality over quantity, Even now still, I am so like I don't like a lot of stuff. It's so funny, and I'm totally going off track here. But I always wanted this big walk-in closet. You see these people with these big, beautiful walk-in closet. And I wanted this, I have all these clothes. I want this big, beautiful closet. And the apartment that I was in before I started this journey, my closet was the smallest closet you can even imagine. It wasn't even really a closet. And I was like, oh my God, like, what is this? I used to say to spirit, like, what are you doing to me? And everywhere I went, it seemed like I got this very small space. But I had already started to pare down, and now all my stuff was gone now anyway. So it's kind of like now I've been blessed with this big, beautiful closet, but I have very few clothes in it. So it's kind of like you understand that there's more important things in the world. I still love clothes, but I know I don't need as many as I thought I did. Anyway, that's way off subject. Um, so the next couple weeks just kind of went by going to work, also healing from that relationship because now I was all by myself, all alone. I didn't have anyone else. And like I say, you're going to be spending a lot of time alone. And it was kind of time alone also to kind of go through that healing. I was also still dealing with um, this couple, this toxic couple that was living in um, the residence where I was in their own separate room, but just constant, bickering and just weirdness. I would come home from work and they would just kind of like trying to like intimidate. And a few times I got a little afraid, like, are they going to try to do something to me or whatever? But it was weird, like, just always knowing that I was protected. Like they tried things with other people there. Like I said, the young single gentleman, but they never ever in the time that I was there said anything to me. They would watch me and try to be intimidating and stuff, or stand like kind of like they were going to block me or something like that in the hallway, but they never did. And it's just the weirdest thing. It's like there was always protection for me. So now we come up on, I just say stop saying right? I say a lot. I know, sorry about that. I'm gonna try to think about that more. So we come up on the end of November, and I'm so excited because I really haven't been anywhere now in the last, since 2019, the end of the year, I took a trip to Chicago by myself for my birthday. And now it's 2023, and I hadn't been anywhere except when I went with my friend for that one day to go about his daughter's car down in North Carolina, I think it was, and just kind of being away from that family member I had been living with. So this is kind of my first trip since December of 2019 on my own, and I'm just so excited. I can't wait to go. I so I packed and everything and left that Thursday morning and went up, got the bus at Port Authority. And, I was trying to make a really nice time about it. And had a whole schedule for myself. I think Thursday when I got there, I went out to eat, and that was rare too. Like just taking myself out to dinners again. And then Friday, I had to work. I worked from the hotel room during the day, and I told them that at 4 o'clock I had a reservation at the library. If you look up the library in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, trying to give them a little plug. Very beautiful, elegant restaurant. And then kind of on Saturday, I think I went to, what's it called? The Toast? Something to Toast. It's hard to get into that restaurant. You got to make reservations ahead of time, but really great brunch. And then I just walked around Portsmouth. There's a lot of shops and people were already there for like the tree lighting that evening. I had planned on going to, it's called the Strawberry Museum, which is kind of like a outdoor colonial type of thing. And I had got tickets for it ahead of time, but it ended up raining that night, I think after the tree lighting or something like that. And I was tired from walking around all day. So I just ended up going back to the hotel. So that was my little donation to them because I never ended up going to that. Sunday morning, I went, there's a place called Jimmy Jazz, and you can have brunch there while they have entertainment. And it's usually around a jazz theme, and I love jazz music. So that was one of the highlights of going there on Sunday. And I walked around Portsmouth some more, shops that I hadn't gone into, and just walked around along the river. And there's just this feeling too, this connection with the area, like thinking like, oh my goodness, in a couple months, like I'm gonna be here. So that was Sunday, kind of went back, and it was just nice to be in a hotel room by myself without any noise around me from like the people I had been living with there, and you know having a big bed and being able to like just relax and just do some deep thinking, because also had been on going since I had left that house on April 30th, and my mind was so you know not sure of direction at this point. But I finally had a set direction, a set destination of where I was going to go. And I was really excited about that. I remember meeting a couple people, like the Uber driver, and said, "Oh, what are you doing out this way?" And I'm like, "I'm going to move here in a couple of months." And he's like, "Oh, you're moving to Portsmouth?" And I'm like, "Yeah, well, I want to get somewhere in this area." He goes, "Portsmouth is really expensive. It might be better to go to Dover, which is, a couple miles away." And I was like, "Oh, I really wanted to do Portsmouth." And then somebody else said the same thing. They said, "Oh, why don't you go to Dover?" And he said it's a little bit less expensive. So I'm like, okay, well, Spirit told me to go to the New Hampshire Maine border. So it didn't never told me to go to Portsmouth. So let me rethink that. Monday morning, got up. I think I had to get a really early bus. I think it was 6 a.m. I had to catch. And I didn't have to start really on work till 10 o'clock. So I got to rest for a couple hours on the bus. Started work at 10, and I think I landed back in um, Port Authority in New York City around a little after 12. And I was gonna go into the office, I had my luggage and I was tired. I'm like, I'm just gonna go home, and went all the way to Queens, and then I worked from home from there. And so that was my trip to Portsmouth, that New Hampshire Maine border, my destination, my destiny, that I knew I had to get there somehow. So I'm going to leave it here for this one. I probably went way over time, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for being here and letting me share my story with you. And please like, share, and subscribe.